this point, I invite the kids to come forward as you wish, and the parents can accompany. But if you want to sit down here, you're welcome. And the kids, you can stay where you are. Everybody, for definitely the 2 seconds of the story, everybody is invited quiet to move around if you wish to see this and do not do this story.
Can you guys make, like, yeah, right there, make that a line. No more forward than that.
There was a stream, which began from a source high in the far-off mountains. This became a lively, strong stream which ran through hills and dales, snow and meadows. The stream was composed of thousands, if not millions, of drops of water. The water drops were in a community of water, which they call the stream, and each drop of water was also their own individual self. On this day, 2 of the drops were especially talkative with one another.
What a truly wonderful day.
I agree. I would take this kind of weather any day.
You know, it's really great to be a drop of water.
Oh yeah, I love being a drop of water. It's so great. But you know, I do have some friends that are some blades of grass, and you know, they seem happy enough, but I kind of feel bad for them because they just gotta sit there all day long. Look at us, we get to move around, look at all we get to do and see.
Yeah, I know, this is pretty cool. But of course, I'd never want to make fun of the grass for being grass, but it's better to be a drop of water. I think the same thing about my friends who are pine cones. They usually grow into really cool shapes and often have a great view hanging from a tree branch, but they only get one great view before they fall to the ground. We get to move around all the time and see the world. We are so lucky.
I am with you. And of course, we don't want to brag, but we do have it pretty good, and let's be honest, we have some talent. Not everyone gets around like we do.
Right.
Okay, so you go. After a long, fruitful journey throughout the course of the mountain, the stream eventually reached areas with less water. The elephants were taking advantage of one of the last places to get a drink. Then the drops of water in the stream saw some desert flowers and cacti, and then the sands of a vast desert. Just as it had crossed every other barrier, such as the large stones and logs in the stream bed, the stream tried to cross the desert sand. However, the stream found that as fast as it ran in the sand, its waters disappeared. They tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried and tried. But this unexpected challenge was certainly going to require some creativity. What would they do? Okay. At this time, we have the opportunity to support the ministries of the church, and we will, even though their current situation seemed very difficult, these tenacious drops of water were convinced that it was their destiny to cross this desert. Yet they could not figure out how to get across.
Oh my gosh, we are giving it everything we have, but we are just being absorbed powerlessly into the air. What is going on?
I don't know. Why is it that the wind can fly across the desert and we can't? This is really not fair.
Then a hidden voice, perhaps coming from the desert itself, whispered,
Crosses the desert, and so can the stream.
Huh?
Okay, what was that? Did you hear something?
Yeah, I think so.
Water drops, listen. You need to know that by hurtling yourself into the sands like you are doing right now, you cannot get across. You have to change the way you are trying to do this. If you don't change your behavior, you will either disappear or maybe you will just remain stuck where you are and become a marsh.
that would be a drag.
If you want to make it across, you must also allow the wind to carry you over to your destination.
Apparently, the idea of being absorbed into the wind was not acceptable to the stream.
I have never been absorbed before.
And I am not trying to lose my individuality.
I like the way things are, and if things were to change and we were have to give up our regular patterns of behavior, then would we ever get back to the way of living that we really like and that we're used to?
If you are nervous right now, I understand, but trust me, the wind will help you. The wind takes water up, carries it over the desert, and then lets it fall again. Falling is rain. The water again becomes a river which flows into the ocean.
Now, these two drops of water, they had been around the block. They had enough experience to know that they should not simply accept the advice of anybody who tries to tell you what to do. These drops of water decided to ask some questions and to think about what this voice was saying.
So we can't just remain the same stream that we are today?
You cannot remain totally the same, but there is a part of you that will always remain the same, even when it flies away to join a body of water somewhere else.
Why should we trust this voice?
Well, remember, many times it is good to ask for and to receive help.
The drops of water sure were glad that they had each other to talk this out. They also knew that they could listen to their own souls or listen to their own consciences about what was the best thing to do in this tricky situation. Based on what the voice of the wind said to them and their conversation with one another and listening to their own hearts, the drops of water decided.
Okay, I vote we do this thing. Let's ask for and get help from that wind guy.
Okay, I'm in. After all, we know that our parents and church taught us this spiritual wisdom many times.
So it was that the water raised up as vapor into the welcoming arms of the wind. The wind gently and easily carried the drops of water upward and along. Eventually, the wind let the drops of water fall gently at the end of the stream, where they entered a great ocean. Because the drops of water had had their doubts, They clearly remembered the details and reflected upon the experience they had just had.
You know what? I think we learned that change is okay and it's good to ask for and receive help.
Now in the ocean, those drops of water moved around, feeling excitement and awe for their new situation. Wow. Wow. Then the voice came back, possibly for the last time, but they couldn't be sure with this guy.
Now that you have arrived at the end of this amazing stage of your journey, remember what the great teacher Rumi taught. You are not a drop in the ocean. You are the entire ocean in one drop.
What does that mean?
What does that mean? Hello?
The essence in you is the same as the essence found in everyone. For example, there is a collective wisdom in all water drops that each individual water drop has in themselves. Inside of you lives the spiritual wisdom that is also found in the greater community of water.
The raindrops looked around. Their new setting in the ocean, they were meeting some new friends, and they saw they were looking around, and they saw coming forward from a great ocean of community lessons. Come on, lessons. Come on, show everybody. These are lessons that they had
What were
learned
those
from their
things?
parents and their teachers and their neighbors throughout their life as water droplets. They saw the lesson that the voice at the cusp of the ocean had taught them. It's good to ask for and receive help. They saw stand strong for justice, keep hope alive, say I'm sorry and I forgive you. They realized that these were also the lessons that they themselves had learned when they were quiet and listened to their own hearts. They were certainly glad to be individual drops of water in a beautiful community of water.